everyone, my name is Melanie Tree and welcome to the Speaking Out Loud channel. So what we are doing today is that we are going to be watching human trafficking TikToks. And from the last video, you guys literally just ate it up. On the TikTok, I have 78 likes and that is freaking insane. And I think I only got a couple views on YouTube on the first video, which is okay. We are growing. I'm glad that we had those couple of views, and I'm glad we had those 78 likes. Like, I was ecstatic. I do apologize for not posting on Friday. I had a really bad migraine, and I'm filming this Sunday, but you guys are gonna get this Monday. So I'm planning on just staying ahead because just in case I get another migraine. Also, I got my nails done for my 20th birthday, which is Saturday. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I am very excited. I want to address these TikToks that I found. I just had a good idea of just watching some human trafficking TikToks with you guys, because I did state in the last video that there wasn't a whole lot, and these were the best ones that I found. Very informative, and I think it would be awesome for you guys to see this, and you guys can check out these creators, some of them in their worst days and some of them just spreading information. It's very important to watch these and find them. So I favorited them. We only have a couple that I really liked. I would say maybe like 12 of them that I really liked. But anyways, please like and subscribe down below. Follow me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram. Instagram is, I need to be better at it, but yes, follow me here, Instagram and TikTok. Alright, let's get this started. So I have the first one, and it's these girls that almost got trafficked, if I remember it correctly. She's from Afghanistan, what the fuck? She woke me up in the car. Where the fuck are we? So I called the cops. What the fuck? Yes, there is a language warning. They do cuss, but I think they literally just had a very traumatic experience, and it is very unfortunate that the cops blamed these women, and I believe they said that they were in Afghanistan. So I don't know what the laws is in Afghanistan and what's the culture about this, but it doesn't even matter because these girls, they probably went out and had fun. They look like they're ready, like they went out and had fun. Their Uber driver almost trafficked them, and I'm so glad that they got out because that is very unfortunate. I don't know what the culture like is Afghanistan, and I just really have to say shame on these cops for not taking these girls seriously, because they called them and they're like, hey, this almost happened to me, and they don't even know where they're at, which is astronomically dangerous. I cannot express this enough, that you should always know where you're at. But assuming that the Uber was trying to traffic them, he probably took them to a location that they were not planning on heading to. So it's completely understandable, and honestly, they look really shaken up, and my heart goes out to them. I hope they are doing better, that they are getting therapy that they need to resolve this. Like, I hope this doesn't prevent them from traveling in the future. If you guys are from Afghanistan, please tell me what the culture like is there towards human trafficking, if they acknowledge it, if it's not really there. I know it's a war-torn country and a lot of people are fighting there, but this was only a couple years ago. It was 2023. It's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I hope they're doing better. Alright, let's watch the next one.
Facts about human trafficking that you may not know from somebody who's worked in the anti-human trafficking industry for close to 4 years now. The most shocking things that I found out from working in the industry is that a lot of traffickers are actually women, and that is because women trust women. so it's easier for them to deceive them. Not all human trafficking looks the same. So for example, the area that I work in is between Nepal and India. And the way a lot of the young women end up in these situations is by deception. A lot of the women are actually led by false promises and false hope of finding employment across the border. In some countries, for example, like in Thailand, a lot of the parents actually sell their own daughters to brothels so that their daughters can send back the money to the families. And then some victims of human trafficking are actually kidnapped. But there is definitely more than one way that human trafficking happens and how victims find themselves in those situations. Once the victims are trafficked, it's about only 2% that are ever actually found again. And then from that 2%, a lot of them actually fall back into that same line of work because it's what they feel most comfortable in. And the last one I'll share for today is that human trafficking happens in every single country, even yours, even here in Australia. Most people think that human trafficking is an issue that is so far away from home, but it's actually happening in your own backyard. And no country is safe from it. There's so much information and stories that I can share about my time working in the anti-trafficking industry. I've also been over to Nepal and I'll be going over there in February as well. So if you do have any questions, drop a comment and I will do my best to answer them.
Okay, so she is very right, and she says she works in the industry, and she is from Australia, so I'm sure it's a little bit different, but also very similar to what is happening in America. And she said that a lot of human traffickers are women, which is very much correct, because this is going to be another video. So, briefly, it's like what we see in the prostitute industry, which I will have a video about because the prostitute industry is largely human trafficking. And what they would do is that they'd be like, hey girlie, come over here, I have this guy and I have these ideas and you can make money quick and it's very easy. And then they soon become trafficked. And a lot of the ways that happen is that if they get another girl, that they will be soon left alone. Like, they're not going to be as hurt, they're not going to be getting those sketchy clients, they're going to be safe. Like, that's what the trafficker, that's what the pimp would promise these girls, so then they will get younger or girls that they know they can get, like going to school, like their friends, and this is how it breeds into a human trafficking ring. And I don't know if you guys watched the Netflix documentary, but that definitely has happened during the Epstein case, and the girls will get more girls, either for more money, either to be promised not to be hit, either to not be getting those abusive clients, either to not be in the industry anymore and just be more of a recruiter. So that is very true. And it is very hard to hear that parents will sell their kids, they will sell their daughters to get more money, and it's very unfortunate, but it's very true. And the number one offender is dads. So a lot of this will happen in your very own home, and it's very upsetting. It is very, very upsetting that dads would do this to their own daughters, to their own nieces and nephews, to their own grandparents would do it to their own grandchildren. It is very frustrating and very sad. So if you are in the dating world, please choose your companion wisely. I do date, but I guess I can say very picky and very hesitant about dating because I know those facts and these statistics, and I don't like it. I don't really like it, and this isn't to make you scared, it's to make you more informed. And it is very true. And what she stated about, I believe, the girls from Nepal getting trafficked because they're being promised more work, that also is labor trafficking and with sex trafficking as well. And sometimes they go hand in hand, they work together. And that is very true. I believe, I said this in my first video of, this is what I was talking about. That people will go to a different country, and once they get there, they strip them of their visas, they strip them of their ID of which citizen that they are from another country, and so then they can't go and get help because they don't have the physical documents to prove that they are not a citizen here and that they are being trafficked. It's very, very hard especially if they don't have their real IDs. So a lot of them feel stuck and they can't escape. So yeah, I'm very glad that she's working, helping out these women and these children to help make them safe. She's doing a great job, and I'm glad that she made this video.
A high school football star who took his own life after falling victim to a sextortion scam is finally seeing justice. Nigerian brothers Samuel and Samson Ogoshi posed as a woman on Instagram and tricked 17-year-old Jordan DeMay into sending them intimate photos. They demanded the teen send them $1,000, threatening to share the pictures with his friends and family if he didn't pay up. 6 hours later, DeMay was found dead. His last message was, "I'm killing myself right now. Because of you." Now the scammers have pleaded guilty to conspiring to exploit teenage boys.
Now, what the media may not be telling you is that this is happening a lot. This is happening a lot. I believe it was Operation Underground Railroad or You Are Rescue that recently made a fact that like dozens of young boys are unaliving themselves. And I put that in quotations because there's strict ways I can say that on YouTube. They're doing this because of sextortion, but no one is covering sextortion a lot on mass media, so they can't warn these young boys. And it does happen to girls, but it happens more likely to boys. And it's very frustrating that the media doesn't portray this. And I found these comments really, really offensive. Let me pop them up. The first comment says, "This is why you don't send with face." The second one said, like, the fourth comment that it's these guys. He says, "Bro, this is wild. I'd rather have the whole world see my schlong before I'd ever think about taking my own life." But he does say RIP, man. But this is a young boy, and your brain isn't fully developing until what, you're 25 years old? I turn 20 next week, so my brain's not even fully developed. And you can imagine this boy, he's in high school and he has his whole life ahead of him. He has his whole life ahead of him. And then he thought he was in love with this girl, and he sent some pictures, some intimate pictures, and these guys from a whole other country used it against him, I believe for some money. It's so annoying that no one talks about sextortion and how it mainly happens to boys, to young teenage boys. I believe you should start being like more wary of your children's behavior at age 13, because this is what happens, and this is when they start getting social media, what they're out of middle school and they're going into high school, so they're having social media accounts, and this is how these predators get a hold of them. And this poor boy, he looks like a really good looking kid. He looks like, I feel so sorry for the family, and mass media should be ashamed of themselves for not telling more about what is happening to these young boys, to these young kids. This is happening a lot to young boys, a lot, and a lot of them are unaliving themselves because of this. And parents, you truly need to be aware of what is happening, because this is happening everywhere. It's happening in America. It's not happening in some foreign country. If I was the creator, I would be taking down those comments that are very rude, because what if the victim's family saw those comments? It is absolutely disgusting, and yes, everyone has the right to say, but for a case like this, and if other young boys are seeing this and they see that top comment, they're not going to tell anybody. They're going to think, wow, this is how other guys think. I should not be talking about this. And then they end up hurting themselves. So if this is happening to you, please go on NCMEC. Please, please, please. They have so many resources to take these comments down and get these guys prosecuted. Please, 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 please. I truly mean this. Go on NCMEC. It's completely free. Completely anonymous, I believe. They will take it down and they will scrub it from the internet. So please, just go on NCMEC and they can handle it from there. So the next one is directly towards parents.
So one thing parents really don't understand is how absolutely dangerous it is right now. And it's to the point where you shouldn't be vigilant, you should be hyper-vigilant. And I don't use that term lightly, but that's the state our nation is in regarding the safety of our children and welfare. I'll give this. One of the fastest growing groups of people viewing child sexual abuse images are young men in their 20s.
Previously on The Sean Ryan Show.
He put me in a vehicle and drove me to an abandoned house. There was a hole cut through the wood floor. I was 7 years old. People who don't understand it, you don't run, you don't tell. And I'm looking at the hole, and trust me, enough stuff had happened where I thought, well, this is the day he's just gonna kill me.
With everything you've been through as a child, when did God come into your life? You guys are saving kids all over the world now.
He is completely right, and he was a victim himself. Parents need to be hyper aware of what their kids are doing on social media, what their kids are watching on social media, on YouTube, what they're doing on video games like Roblox, like any video game where they can talk to other players, listen to other players. It is not safe. It is not safe. You need to look at their apps like Discord, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook Messenger. Yes, it happens on Facebook Messenger. It's happening everywhere. You need to be aware of these apps. You need to go through these apps. And I know kids get really upset and they get really offended. They're like, oh, this is an invasion of my privacy. Well, like he said, this needs to be like a national warning everywhere. Like, this is happening in America, and it's happening so much. Kids will soon grow to be very thankful that you took care of them and that you watched over them. And I'm saying this as a 20-year-old. I'm saying this as a 20-year-old, as a Gen Zer. Like, you guys are the front lines to protecting your kids from what they are going to see on the internet, what they're going to hear on the internet, and the predators that are going to be trying to contact them. You guys are the front lines, and you guys need to be aware. You need to go over their phone annually. You need to go with them, but make it in such a careful way. And like the Genesee County, they have resources to help you know the best approach to talk to your children, so if something does happen, they do not feel ashamed to go and talk to you. It's a very fine line, and I know this, and it's going to be easier if you don't allow them to have social media, to be quite honest. If you don't allow them to have social media, I didn't have social media until I was almost 18, and I'm doing just fine. Honestly, I think kids just should not have social media altogether. So if you're needing a sign, here's the sign. Just find a way to take it away. Find a way to take it away. It's way too risky now. Way too risky for your kids to have any type of social media. And you can show them this video, and I will happily tell them myself.
Just dropped a random kid off at school because he comes up to me and he goes, hey, excuse me, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. And he goes, do you know which way Eastwood Middle School is? And I said, yeah, do you go there? He says, yeah, I missed my bus and my parents said I could walk, but I forgot how to get there. And my first thought is, why would your parents tell you to walk to school if you don't know how to get there? Why wouldn't they check that you know how to get there, first of all? Second of all, the walk that he had to walk would have taken him easily, depending on how he walks, easily 25-30 minutes to get there. If it takes your child that long to get to school walking, I don't think they should be a walker. I mean, honestly, a walker, the point of being a walker is that you are like right by the school. I would never make my kids walk if their school is more than like between 5 and 10 minutes away. And even I feel like 10 minutes is a push, and that's my opinion. But if it's further than that away, they should not be walking. So, and the crazy thing is, y'all, we live in such a fucked up world where the kids are the ones causing problems, that I'm thinking in my head, what if this little motherfucker tries something with me? You know what I'm saying? What if he got something in his backpack? Da, 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 da. I'm not even that type of person. I love kids. I love helping people. So for me to have that thought process, it just says a lot about the world we live in. It sucks so bad, y'all. Like, I do a lot of good things for a lot of people, and I don't broadcast it because what's the point? But I give the clothes off my back to homeless people. I buy people food. I fill up people's gas tanks. Like, anything that I can do to help somebody. If they have the courage to ask, because closed mouths don't get fed. If they got the courage to ask for things like gas, food, they're cold, they need a coat, like shit like that, and they're not really asking for money per se, like, I'm 9 times out of 10 gonna fucking do the shit, because we can all be them in the blink of an eye. You know what I'm saying? But this whole video was just to bring awareness to y'all. Like, stop making your kids walk to school without knowing if they know how to get there, number one. And also, if it's more than a 10-minute walk, like, they should not be walking, y'all. That's stupid. The point of being a walker is because you're close to the school. It shouldn't take you more than like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to get to school on foot. Like, I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. My kids is not about to walk to school if they got to cross 1,000 streets and turn 1,000 corners. And if your child don't know how to get to their school from their house, then 9 times out of 10 is too far. That's just how I feel.
I completely agree. I would never, ever, ever in a million years let my kids walk to school. Never. I have seen too many documentaries. I have seen too many videos. I have heard too many podcasts of these kids just going and walking to school and they never get found again. And they're missing. I have seen too many views, and kudos to this lady for being willing to drive this young boy to school. I don't know what his parents in the situation were that they couldn't drive him to school, but I'm just grateful that she was able to drive him to school so he doesn't become another statistic. I have seen and heard too much of kids just walking to school, and the parents, they think it's a normal neighborhood, it's a normal day, the community is very safe, and they never see their kids again. Never in a million years. And this is not to say that if you're a parent and you let your kids walk to school, this is not saying you're a crappy parent. You probably are both working, or you're a single mom and you are working 2 jobs. But this is just an awareness. Like she said, make sure that your kids know how to walk to school. Honest to God. Let them have a phone. Let them have a phone. I don't care what their age is. Let them have a phone. Teach them how to call you, how to call another emergency contact, have those phone numbers memorized. I have met so many people, even my age, that don't even know their parents' phone numbers memorized. I have both my parents' phone numbers memorized. So have them memorize your phone number just in case something happens to your phone. And honestly, don't even let them give their phone to the office. Don't let the kid tell anyone that they have a phone. Just keep it, like, turned off in the bottom of their backpack. Especially if they are walking to school. Because the kid could forget that it's in the office. The office could just never give it back to the kid. I think it's ridiculous that they take the phones away from the kids in school. Yes, I know there's kids that are distracted. But honestly, if there's something that were to happen, because I have heard so many stories of something happening, and this has also happened to myself and to fellow classmates, that something was happening, and they would go to the office, and the office wouldn't let them call their parents. Just wouldn't let them. They just said, no, go back to class. I don't care. Go back to class. You're not calling your parents. It happens way too often. When I got my phone, I think I was going into middle school. I always brought it with me. I was never on it. I always had it turned off and in my little emergency pouch. And no one ever knew. No one ever knew. Even on field trips where phones weren't allowed, I just had it in my bag, completely turned off, just in case something happens, because you never truly know. You never truly know. Just make sure, just those 3 things. Make sure that they have their phone numbers memorized, that they have their way to school memorized, that they know how to call you, an emergency contact, and the police if need be. That will probably help your kid off exponentially, but I don't care what age. Honestly, I don't care. They don't have to have social media apps on their phone. I think there are some phones that are just designed for children where they can only just call for their parents and a couple other things. Just that. So, do your research. I know they are out there.
Baby, 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 would you really go ahead and would you go?
This woman is incredibly strong. And yeah, that conversation is not in any parenting book. And honestly, I have no idea how you could explain this to a kid. But I know people have had this conversation with their kids and with their children. I would honestly just encourage you to find those people, because they would know a lot more than a 19-year-old girl. Man, that is really rough. This woman is incredibly strong, and I'm glad that she has the kid to this day. She still has it, and she's still with the kid. That's some otherworld kind of strength. I'm glad she's still here.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Moon, and I'm a military ex-wife and trafficking survivor. I am now, as a 28-year-old woman, looking at getting a hysterectomy in January and a full reconstruction because of the horrible things he did to me. I will never have any more children. I will probably have to get additional surgeries every 10 to 15 years to keep my insides from falling out. He is a wounded warrior. He's highly decorated. He's all these things. But when nobody sees what's going on behind the door and all they see is this highly decorated military hero, why would they believe me? He has gotten off free 3 different times now with 3 different women for domestic violence arrest because he has a good military record.
This is incredibly frustrating. There are so many women and men out there that are victims of domestic abuse and trafficking themselves by their loved ones, and so many of them are like what you would hear from podcasts, like with serial killers. They're like, oh, they were the pillar of the community, we never saw it coming, they're amazing, they always did volunteer work, they were a leader in the community, they had such a perfect family, and then they find out there's this psycho serial killer. This is the same for victims of domestic abuse and then human trafficking and pedophiles. So many of them are military, so many of them are like lawyers, so many of them are coaches, so many of them are teachers, so many of them are church leaders. Like, they purposely find a way of power, and they try to put on this fake persona that they are this amazing person to feed their ego and to feel like nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm a person of power. No one's gonna have the strength to file a complaint against me, and even if there is, if I am a police officer, if I'm a military person, I'd be like, yeah, we just got in an argument, she's over